Nothing stops reality. Nothing crushes like the world does. But I try and I try again to realize this won't be the end. 'Cause I don't want it all, I just want enough. Something small that will keep me tough. 'Cause I don't feel like I am enough. But then I hear you through the roof. Darling, don't let the colors parts of your heart grow. Darling, don't let go. Don't you
Hello, friends. How are we today? Just want to make sure the mic is good to go. I think my background music is a little loud though. Oh well. Oh well. How's everybody doing? How are we doing today? It's Tuesday at Womp. Yeah. Yeah, I need my my background yap music. I like had it in the background for like the first few weeks of streaming, and now it's like I like need it. I don't know. Thank you so much, USS North Carolina, for gifting 25 subs. Oh my god. 25 subs, that's insane. Thank you so much. Now, okay, you know the drill, one gifted sub equals, 1 minute of shoulder time. So are we saving the shoulder time for a full shoulder stream, or are we using it now? Is a redeemable coupon now. You would add to the already 5 minutes, so we would have 30 minutes full of shoulders. That's what you guys have decided. You want to do a full shoulder stream, we have to get to 120 minutes. But oh my gosh, thank you so much. I also saw your message in the public Discord, and I am beyond so fucking happy that you went to the Midway. Yeah, because I do 2-hour streams, so 120 minutes would be a full shoulder stream. So it's your choice whether you add to the shoulder bank, as we're calling the bank of shoulders, or God, this sounds so stupid. Oh, I can't believe this is a thing. But you can do that, or we can redeem it now. It's up to you, USS North Carolina. But yeah, I am so beyond happy. I've been thinking about that tweet for like literally 2 days now. Like that's literally why I do VFleet. Why I joined VFleet in the first place was to get people to go to museums and to experience, and obviously to talk with the docents, because the docents are cool as shit. You want shoulders at the end of the stream, or where? So the Portal 2 stream, yes. Portal 2 stream tomorrow with Lucy. We're gonna have to get her caught up on lore, because she has not played Portal before. So we're gonna have to get her acquainted. Okay, so you want shoulders, 25 minutes of shoulders at the end of stream. Got it. Okay, I'm gonna make sure I remember, but everybody else, obviously remind me for the last 25 minutes of stream. You guys get shoulders thanks to USS North Carolina. Thank you so much. Remy says, "No, I'll forget." I'm gonna like set something so I remember shit. Should I set? Do we have like I don't know, like a timer? I guess I don't know. I don't know. What should I? Oh God, I don't even know what I should do. Actually, I have the timer at the bottom of my screen. I'll be okay. All right. Yes. Feel free to remind me. Just spam the word shoulders in all caps. And that'll be a reminder. But yeah, that made me like, again, that tweet made me beyond happy. I obviously retweeted it right before stream. Because holy shit, it just made me so happy. So fucking happy. Thank you, Burst of Fire. Thank you so much. Thank you for the 10 subs. Again, you decide what you do with the shoulders. I really, I need to make like an asset or something. The bank of shoulders, it needs to, okay, bank them. All right, so we've got, all right, bank them. Got it. Again, I'll work on it. I'll work on it. We'll get a bank of shoulders to put at the bottom of the screen that I can update. I gotta look into how we should do that. But anyway, shit, the ADHD goes burr today. I'm so sorry. But yeah. Okay, we were talking about Portal 2 and we were talking about museum ships at the same time, and my brain my brain do crazy shit. You need to visit the US to see the museum ships. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And there's so many to choose from. But like not just museum ships. If you go to the VFleet website, we also have aviation museums. NAS Pensacola has an aviation museum that I thoroughly enjoy. I told a story about that. Yeah. Are you supposed to have links down in the description, socials? Because if so, there's nothing there except the main site link. What? 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 We so upset. We have major scuff right now. What the freak? Now I gotta check this out. Now I gotta see what we're talking about. Oh my god, it is gone. What the frickety frick? That's annoying. Okay. Yeah, so the bottom, like my panels, magically the text is gone. That's what we call PFM, pure fucking magic, because I promise you guys, I have not fucked with anything. Admiral, if you're watching this, I've not fucked with shit on my channel. Actually, I'm gonna ping him. Hey, Anamarchy, what's up? Yes, I have a hype train going. We got people gifting subs left and right, which is so sweet. Thank you, Remy. I was about to ping them, but I appreciate it. Thank you, Anamarchy, for the 5 subs. Also, Burst of Fire, did you ever tell us what you wanted to do with the shoulders? I'm sorry, I got distracted by my missing fucking panels. God. Ugh. We this is why we can't have nice things. This is we just have to start off the week fucking absolutely nuts. Of course. Of course. Of course. We love it. We love it. Yeah. Okay. Oh, that's right. He said bank. Okay, Anamarchy, are you banking shoulder time? Are you adding to the bank of shoulders? Or do you want shoulders now? Oh my goodness. Okay, so yeah, saving them for no jacket stream. Alright, sweet. Yeah, I am losing panels like the Truman lost the F-18. Jesus. It's always the Truman, too. I was literally talking about this with friends. Like, why is it always the Truman? I'm gonna stream in raid. However, I'm desperately trying to fix my sleep schedule. Oh no. Oh god. See, don't tell VFleet about that. Anybody VFleet, because I get yelled at for. Okay, Admiral is gonna get pissed at me if I say yelled at. I get a stern talking to for being up at DGen hours, and then yesterday I missed my Art Dad stream, Mono Joker, because I wasn't up at DGen hours. So it sounds like I should be up at DGen hours. That's what it sounds like to me. Yeah. Can you bank yours? Yes, you can bank yours. So what's that? 25. We have 5 and 10 and 5. Fuck, that's a lot of math, bro. This is why I need a bank at the bottom of the screen. I'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. We're gonna do something about that. Don't worry. Maybe I'll look into that. I'm gonna add that to my list of shit I need to do. Oh, it is just, it is, yeah, it is, it is a day. I obviously I'm having, a brain going everywhere type of day. Oh gosh. We have an air museum south of Portland, Oregon that was originally owned by Evergreen Forest Fighting Company before they went under. Seemed like a really cool thing. In the summer, you could slide down the belly of a 747 into the water park area. That actually sounds so cool. That sounds so cool. Oh my god. Oh my gosh. I love it. I love it. I kind of want. I I I want to do that. I want to do that. Also, let's give a mention to VFleet talent. Merkman is returning tomorrow. Yes, Adrian is returning tomorrow from his hiatus, which I am so excited about. Okay, maybe I won't stay up to DGen hours, because I want to be able to like wake up a little earlier to catch a stream. And that'll be like 5 a.m. my time, which is very, very doable. But yeah, I am super excited about that. So hopefully y'all will be available to support my VFleet brother and our pilot Adrian as he comes back. Like 8 different museums this year. The US loves museums. I will say we have a lot of museums. For like a bunch of different things too, like not just like, obviously I'm partial to like military museums and historical like museums, but like even if you go to the Smithsonian, which is like your national museums, that's broken up into like a bunch of different museums and a different like natural history, trains. What else does the Smithsonian have? Last time I was there, obviously they have the air and space. I'm gonna look this up because there's just like too many, but they are super cool. Yeah, you got the Museum of Natural History, the Portrait Gallery. They have a postal museum. Renwick Gallery. Let's see what else. National Air and Space. A Gallery of Art, African American History and Culture. National Museum of American Indian. Like literally so many. So many. The Zoological Park. Oh my gosh. Like so freaking many. But yes, yeah. There are two Smithsonian Air and Space. Yeah, there are 2. That's the crazy part. That is absolutely the crazy part. But yeah. Carries of the Sea. What is your wisdom? Oh, my wisdom today. I don't have a lot of wisdom today. I'm going to be completely honest. Brain empty. But yeah. Oh yeah, the International Spy Museum. That's not Smithsonian, but the International Spy Museum is really cool. I remember going there as a kid. Actually, funny story. This is slightly como se dice, like NSFW, not really, because it is historical. But there are certain ways that spies would take things with them, and they would hide them in certain body parts. If you get what I mean, in different orifices, I guess you could say. And I went to the International Spy Museum with Father Eve and Brother Eve, and so we're walking around. And Brother Eve happens to see one of these capsules to put gear in your orifices. Let's just say that. And asked Father Eve, "What is that?" Because Brother Eve couldn't really read, or like, I guess he could read, but he didn't really understand what the what the anatomical name for that orifice is. So, Father Eve had a very fun time explaining to Brother Eve in the middle of the International Spy Museum what said capsule-looking thing was for. And yeah, you stick it in the poop deck. Yeah, exactly. Uh, that was a fun conversation. I don't think he was expecting to have that conversation with Brother Eve, but he did. It's one of my many Brother Eve, he was a very curious kid, very, very curious. We throwing ass? Yeah, we're throwing ass. Yeah, so he asked a lot of questions, and that's a good thing. We should always ask questions, but yeah, I don't think Papa Eve was ready to have that conversation, and especially in public. But it is what it is. Nick, I've been to the National Holocaust Museum. There was a tour. One of the inmates from 80 years ago, absolutely insane experience. I couldn't describe how it makes you feel. That is one place I do want to go to. I had the unique opportunity to listen to a survivor I believe it was in middle school. She would tour around schools, and it was like just a talk like after school. My dad took me. Yeah, we sat and we listened to her, and it was extremely important. And I mean, obviously we are losing people from that generation. There's very, very few left. But that is one place I do want to go to, because it just should never happen again. But I don't think that we have to say that, but just in case anybody was wondering, that should never fucking happen again. Yeah. Visited back in the 80s. Yeah. Alfie was telling me to visit a tank museum in Sweden, and I might just have to do that. I might just have to do that. There's lots of museums I want to kind of go to while I'm here. The Warbird Museum in Kissimmee Gateway Airport, and the Fantasy of Flight Museum in Polk City, Florida. Oh, very interesting. Very interesting. Being very good right now. I know you are. The closest big historical thing to me is remnants. Oh, okay. Interesting. How did Faye fall off the carrier? Okay. All right. Let's talk about this, because I know that if I don't talk about it, people are gonna, So, there was some things I originally got, from a friend of mine, but since then that friend has gone silent. There's something we do on a ship called River City, and it's where you shut down all the communication channels during an incident so that people can't really leak information, you know what I mean? Just for OPSEC purposes. So I assume that is what happened to them. They didn't mysteriously disappear. They'll be back in the next 72 hours, but that is one of the protocols that a ship has. And so, it'll be a bit, but essentially from what I'm gathering is that they were doing some evasive movements. A carrier is able to how you run away from alligators? Kind of the same thing, where you make zigzags in the ocean so that, they can't really, they have a harder time getting you with their big, scary flying, boom booms. And yeah, so essentially they were getting launched at. They were already had Faye hooked up to the tractor, They did a little bit too hard of a turn, and Faye and the tractor took a dip. So yeah. No, there are no side rails on the flight deck. No, because think about it, like, if there's side rails on the flight deck, right? Um, the 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 things have to land. Like, if you look behind me, right, that is what the flight deck looks like. Operationally, all the time. So, yeah, yeah. There's no bumpers like in bowling. That would have probably helped. But yeah, yeah. Yeah, the tractor and the pilot, like, they were recovered. One of the sailors does have some, they say, minor injuries. But I assume that it's a lot more, because listen, falling off of that shit, like, that's absolutely terrifying. So yeah, yeah. Um, you know, you want to make art. I think you can. I think the best way to do that is if you, like, just to, like, make it funny and make it a little more, like, lighthearted, because obviously, like, you know, thankfully everyone is okay, but still, to make it a little more lighthearted, you could always make swim call art. We'll just call it that, swim call. Um, which is where, like, people go and they jump off the side of the boat to swim around in the ocean. Um, yeah, yeah. um, but yeah, yeah. We might as well get it out of the way. Obviously, not what you want to do with an F-18, but it happened. So maybe it looked like you dropped Faye. Oh my god, no, no. So how long's the video? It's like it's 54 minutes. I don't know. I found it on the YouTubes. It's like Rulers of the Ocean. It has 2 parts. It was on, like, a free documentary. I told Anna Markey during our Helldivers we would have to schedule the marathon for Enterprise. So I gotta work that out. I gotta look at my schedule and see when we can do a full 6 hours. You always wanted to do swim call, though. So the one time I did swim call was my first deployment, and there were hella jellyfish. Actually, who is it? Who's there right now? It's not the TR. Because the TR is she up there. Let me look at the fleet tracker real quick. We were off the coast of Oman, and there were, like, hella jellyfish. So where the Vincent is, if you look at the fleet tracker, I don't know if I can. Oh god, is it gonna nuke this link if I send it? It might. It might, we'll see. So where the Vincent is, I'll pin it for a few minutes. Where the Vincent is, Remy said no. Should I unpin it? Are we gonna get borked? Okay. It won't nuke your link. Okay, cool. I was like, oh my god, are we gonna get in trouble? Oh yeah, not the TR. Sorry, the Truman. That's the second time I've done this, dude. I called the Truman the TR. Jesus. Oh my god. Uh, but anyway, where the Vincent strike group is, that is where we had our swim call. And again, hella jellyfish. How dare you? I know, how dare I? It was literally the second time today when talking about this. Oh, I don't see my beloved Ike. She must be in port. Yes, I believe. I do declare. I do believe that she is. I'm late. Max is late. Man, you're ratting out Max. Well, hello, Max. But yeah, that's about where we had it. It was fun. We didn't get a lot of time in the water because they wanted to get everyone through, like, all 5,000 people on the ship. So, you know, uh, I didn't get to, have a leisurely swim as you might think. You kind of just jump off the weapons elevator and then swim to the aft end of the ship. And then my second deployment, we did a swim call, but only like, I don't know, I would say like a third of the crew actually got through. And I forget what the issue was. It was a bit of time management issues, as well as like we needed to get back operational because some shit was happening. So we had to go. But yeah, that was that. Unfortunately. Um, let's see. Why is the Nimitz out in the South Pacific? Aren't they retiring her soon? Yeah, they're retiring her out, but they're gonna run her into the ground until till then. They're gonna work her till her last day. Till her last day. But yeah, yeah. I think that should be her last deployment. I'm honestly not sure. Not sure. Um, all my friends on the Nimitz are gone. They moved on to better, bigger and better things. um, but yeah, they're gonna run her into the ground, unfortunately. Unfortunately. I mean, to be fair though, like they want her to last, or they want like all the carriers to last 60 years. That's like the optimal amount of time. So I think they're going to like try and see if like the predicted 60-year timeline is going to be, actually a thing or not, because again, it's just a predicted model based off of like maintenance and stuff. That a carrier can last 60 years, we don't actually know. So they're like, let's test it out, shall we? Oh, God. Did you hear that Faye Industries is aiming to get a new cruise ship? Might be the Nimitz. Oh, gosh. Yeah, I hear the pool. There's an on-deck pool and the off-deck pool. For those who want to go over the side. Maybe with a tractor as its swim buddy. Okay. So last joke about that. But yeah. Any second this thing runs the due date, it's $1 saved. Oh gosh, it's like yeah. I don't know. Yeah, CVN 65 parts of it are being used for 80. That is true. She's gonna have parts of her mom in her. I don't think any parts of grandma. I think well, maybe they might have a plank or something that they'll put in. Who knows? If anybody was here while we were watching the documentary where they were building the ship, the Ford. They hid some stuff like on the ship and within the ship, like hidden Mickeys, so that it still had some. Oh, 4 portholes. That's cool. That's dope. That's really cool. See, so hidden Mickeys, so that they can live on. But yes, yeah. So tradition to make newer enterprises with parts from previous ones. It's a tradition for any ship. Like the Kid has stuff from the original USS Kid. So someone hide the Eve standee inside the EV-180. Put me in the walls, like in the lagging. Like you can like put me in the wall, then put the foam for the lagging, and then lag over it so that I can be in the walls. Like Nini's in the walls. I can have that same energy. How's it going? How's your weekend? It is good. It is good. We having a chill weekend. Some ancient damn. I mean, like, just like put me in the walls. That'll be my request. If anybody is working on 80 or knows a person working on 80, I will send the standee from Kawa, okay? Just put me in the walls. Oh goodness. You'd be willing to do back-to-back sea tours if you could get orders to CVN 80? Oh my gosh. Oh god. Oh gosh, if it's only the West Coast, I'm down to put you in the ship. Well, it's built in Norfolk, so technically she's on the East Coast. I mean, you could put me in the lagging, or where else? Like, where is a good place? I'm just thinking the lagging because, like, when they eventually have to cut that shit out, could you imagine? Like, they're doing a whole overhaul of the ship, RCOH. So it's been 30 years since CVN 80 has been built, right? And RCOH is the half-life refueling of a carrier, where they literally gut everything. Like, everything comes out. They pull down the lagging. They just see this anime girl in the walls. Like, what? Oh gosh, we should keep this on the bridge. Oh my god. Oh gosh. That would be like the weirdest time capsule ever. Oh gosh. On the back wall of the bridge. Okay, that is definitely an option. You have to, like, when you go on the bridge, you have to salute onto the bridge. So you'd have to salute onto the bridge. Obviously salute the captain at the time, but then you have to also salute me. Oh god, that would be so stupid. So stupid. You know what? I've seen stupider things. Like, we definitely had stupider like, I guess, memes? I don't really know what you would call it. Like, the FC's, Fire Controlman, over an aft Sea Whiz had a rubber chicken that was hanging from a rope, like, right in front of the door. And it just chilled there. Like, it chilled there for years. So, there's definitely like worse things, Have stickers of you made and just put them everywhere? Yes. Put me in the fiber boxes. Put my stickers in the fiber boxes. That'll be perfect. That's why I could be like Miku. I'll be hiding in your Wi-Fi. Admiral Jockey. Oh, you guys, yes. You guys saw the Admiral and his chicken jockey art that Kat made. I actually, I commissioned some art from somebody based off of old Vocaloid. And that'll be coming out, in at 12 p.m. PST. So I'm actually excited for that Vocaloid now. Listen. I was feeling like super nostalgic. When you see it, you're gonna be like, wow, shit, actually that's cool as fuck. But I was feeling super nostalgic for really old Vocaloid songs. Yeah, it's based off of what we would call vintage Vocaloid, pre PJSK. I feel like a dinosaur in comparison. Real talk. Before we get into this video, because we do need to do that. But like, I feel ancient, like, fully whenever I see like the newer Vocaloid fans who are more like Project Sakai, and that's how they got into the fandom, and then they like roast older Vocaloid fans. I'm like, yeah. I know I'm a fossil, okay? Like let me just listen to my weeb music and be in peace, okay? I understand. Although the one thing, like, I do get triggered about is if I go, here we go with TikTok comment sections and me lurking in them. There are, like, those fans who will be like, that's not a real Vocaloid song. I'm like, what are you talking about? First off, it's as easy as going to Google and looking at the wiki and seeing that song was in fact from 2010, and my ass at 10 was rocking it the fuck out to that, okay? Like, absolutely rocking it out, all right? That's it is what it is. It is what it is. Or not 2010. Like, I don't know. But like, you get what I mean. You get what I mean. I'm a fan from 2010, and you know, that is like ancient. I might as well be a fucking dinosaur to the younger Project Sakai fans. Oh gosh. I played a little bit of Project Sky. Never got super into it, but you know, it's definitely a thing. Yeah, a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. That I really do be like that. Oh my god, yes, I remember the MMD animations. Oh my god, yeah. Or like you would look stuff like Nico Nico Doga dance covers. Yeah, those were the times. That was, dude. That was like. Honestly, golden age of being a weeb. Were you made fun of in school for it? Absolutely yes. Could you share your interests with your friends? No. It was not cool back then. But that was like the golden era of being a Vocaloid fan, or just a weeb in general. That and like, or like DeviantArt, trolling that. Like I used to have so much. But yeah. A dinosaur is what I call my friends since they're older, but yeah, I remember a lot of stuff. Yeah. I just, you know, I feel, I don't know. It was a chill time. It was a simpler time, you know what I mean? Yeah, I mean, it's a simpler days. It just, you know, just be like that. My belly piercings from CV6. Yes, it's actually the melted down version. We can make that canon. That sounds cool as shit, actually. The age of Skype. Yeah, dude, Skype. I already talked about Skype during Wizard 101. God. Again, Skype was definitely not Discord. We, like, I don't know, my friends, we tried Skype for what Discord is used for now. It was just utter trash, so we tie up the home phone line. Yeah. Again, simpler times. It just be like that. But yeah, anyway, we should probably watch our documentary. So I keep on yapping about random shit. So I'm gonna move to reactions. I forgot to turn on my light again. So you know what that means. I have to disappear real quick while I turn on the light, and so that we don't lose track. I mean, it's still light outside right now, but you know, I don't trust it. Okay. Oh shit! I didn't give you a warning. Sorry. But I'm gonna throw this on, and then you know, I'm gonna turn my light on so that you know, we don't my hearing. Oh my god, I literally don't know what the issue is. I've tried everything, literally all the settings. But yeah. Okay. Anyway, I'm gonna turn this on. I'm gonna disappear. I'm gonna turn on the light, and then I'm gonna reappear magically. You ready? Watch this.
They're sleek and they go fast and they make lots of noise and everybody is wowed by them.
Oh, my autoplay is on.
They're deceptively beautiful.
It'll be fine.
It's like Venus flytraps.
Aircraft launch from the sea, from carriers.
Air-to-air missiles, air-to-ground missiles, GPS-guided bombs. One of those frontline Hornets has everything you could need to really just go out there and wreak havoc.
It's a big kaboom, if you guys didn't see that.
These aircraft have left their mark on America's history in ways that few of us know.
They had no right to win, but they did, and in doing so, they changed the course of a war.
Carriers.
I lost 22% of the guys in my squadron. 22%, you never forget that.
This film follows young pilots today as they learn their craft and tells the sweeping history that they are heirs to.
I watched every World War movie I could get my hands on as a little kid. The history was one of the things that really drew me to this life.
These were people who were willing to literally bet their lives to go ahead and bring this technology and this new kind of warfare to the forefront.
You know,
Back in the
that is
early
very
20th
true.
Century, this is somewhat
I never really think
psychotic.
about the people who
You are
were just like, yeah, this has never been done before. Let's just do it.
People that have been witness to the biggest events of the 20th and now 21st century. You feel that every day you're a part of something bigger.
But embedded in this lineage is also controversy. Again and again over its
What, like
100 years,
landing a C-130?
this craft
Exactly.
has been called into question as impractical, extravagant,
I guess our most recent
obsolete.
version of that is the F-35s.
Now today, a new round of doubts and reason to wonder if this generation
But I
of
don't think it's as
aviators
crazy as
just
people
might
like,
be
listen,
America's
we're gonna put
last.
this in the water, we're gonna fly a
This
plane
is the
onto
story
it.
of a weapon
And
that
people are like,
changed
yeah,
the face of
I'm down to
war.
test that. Kingsville, Texas. People fight for
We did
Texas
our
orders,
cross
by the
country
way.
to Vegas.
Just, I don't know.
She's a good instructor.
A little crazy to me.
I started racing dirt bikes actually. I kind of want to be a professional.
Like,
dirt
I
bike
like
racer, and then
Texas, but
quit the
I
racing,
don't
went
know
to
that I
college,
could be
and
stationed there.
Decided to come in the Marine Corps, and best decision
I like
ever
being,
made.
you know, by the ocean too much.
Should be pretty cool.
I guess, you know, you had to like go to like Galveston. I don't know. There's ocean areas, but
Y'all following him out?
none that I would have been able to work at,
you.
unfortunately.
My mom used to take us to an airport nearby where we grew up, and you could sit out close to the flight line and see people taking off and landing and stuff, and saw planes flying over, like this guy.
You take that. I'm sorry, Max.
It kind
I'm
of
sorry.
captivates a young mind, I think. and it
I don't
definitely grabbed
know.
me early on.
I just don't feel like Texas
tell
is the place
students,
for me, you
hey,
know.
what am I going to teach you how to do here? I want you to learn how to taxi, take off, go out and do something, and you're going to come back and land. And you're going to do that on land, and you're going to
Help
do
you
that
with
on a
your
ship.
carrier activities. No more crashing into the bridge structure for you.
Every little thing will affect your psyche before you're going out to the boat. You're going over the entire flight 500 times in your head long before you even get there.
You can imagine the instruments and how they're changing. In your head, you can imagine the airplane accelerating faster.
We're gonna fly out there.
Listen.
First time you see the carrier
It's
that you're
been a
going to,
month
it'll be
since
about
my
15
attempt
miles
at
out,
flight,
and
okay?
You realize you're gonna be landing on there,
It's been a
stopping
month.
on what looks to be about a little drop of oil in the sea.
I think universally, the first time you roll up behind the boat, oh crap, is what comes to people's minds. Everybody says it looks like a postage stamp. The first time you go overhead, you look down and think, well, there's no way. They made a bad mistake.
They always have the
Part
Top
of the
Gun
mental
appearance.
preparation is trying to think,
Yeah,
okay,
kind of.
I'm gonna see it. It's gonna look different than what I imagine. It's gonna feel different
Well,
than the
he's
simulator.
he's
I'm gonna
Marine
freak
Corps.
out,
He's
and
a
I'm gonna keep
jarhead.
flying.
Damn crayon pilot. I don't know why I read that as crayon culprit, and I kind of like that name. I don't know. My like
In the
my
early 20th century,
my eyes read that as culprit,
Americans
not
flocked to
pilot.
pyramids to witness with their own eyes a man take to the sky. In an age of innovation, nothing seemed more wondrous than the airplane.
These air meets would draw people from all walks of life. It was real popular because here they have these aircraft flying, buzzing around.
It's like modern car shows.
There were accidents,
but they're
almost as
watching
appealing as the flying itself.
Essentially the first flights.
The Army and Navy, too, were intrigued and sent their representatives to the very first air meets. The Army instantly saw the potential of flight and began purchasing airplanes. The Navy, though, was at a loss. The idea of using a flying machine on the open sea was beyond almost everyone's imagination. Everyone except a middle-aged naval officer, convinced that planes and ships working together
Yo,
could
that
become a
uniform
powerful
looks
new
clean
weapon.
as shit.
Captain Washington Irving Chambers is sort of an unlikely champion of aviation.
The epaulets and everything.
Of the 19th century, traditional naval warfare. He graduated from the Naval Academy not too far removed from the Civil War. But Chambers really expressed an interest in aviation. He wanted to look into it and study it. That's why he traveled to some of the air meets that were happening. He would go there to see what the latest technology in aviation was.
In the fall of 1910, Chambers attended an air show in Belmont Park, New York, in search of a pilot willing to try a grand experiment, launching an aircraft from a ship. Among the daredevils and showmen at the meet, one man clearly stood out, Eugene Ely.
Most people think early aviation, they think of aviators in these, leather jackets and flowing scarves and everything. And Ely, he just doesn't look the part of the dashing aviator. If you look at the pictures of him performing these feats, he was wearing a standard business suit. He had a bicycle inner tube wrapped around him for flotation. He wore a primitive football helmet. He's from Iowa, as far away from the ocean as you can possibly imagine. And someone who really didn't really care for the water and didn't really like swimming.
But when Chambers proposed the idea, Ely, the man who didn't like water, couldn't resist.
In addition to being a pretty good pilot, Ely also had a surprising eye as an engineer. He gets the idea that he can build a wooden flight deck on a warship, like a cruiser or a battleship, and actually get it going fast enough that if he flies his airplane off the end of it, he can actually get it into the air and safely maneuver it. Well, back in the early 20th century, this is somewhat psychotic.
I mean, I would say so. It's a guy from Iowa, does not like water, who's like, you know what, let's just build a flight deck
Birmingham
on a...
with a makeshift wooden deck.
Like...
Built to Ely's specifications, the platform was only 83 feet long and 24 feet wide.
That's pretty insane.
On the morning of November 14th, 1910, rain squalls filled the sky.
With an engine no better than a bike engine. Real.
Ely waited nervously.
Real. Like, we're not talking about jets here. Oh my goodness.
Finally, at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, the weather cleared.
So Ely climbed aboard and revved up the engine as much as it would go. And as he went over the edge of the deck and out over the water, he actually descended a little bit quicker than he thought. He thought he might crash, and the wheels actually grazed the water as he took off from Birmingham. But picked up enough flying speed that the wind went beneath the wings, developed some lift, and he was able to take off and fly to shore.
Absolute wild work.
Chambers was pleased,
absolute wild
but
work.
He knew the hardest part was yet to come. Landing
the age-old F at YOLO.
On a rolling ship. Again, Chambers relied
This man
on
is the
Ely's
definition of
practical
YOLO.
Ely was facing the prospect of flying into the back of the smokestacks of the ship, so he had to come up with some way of stopping the airplane.
So what they did is they had sandbags connected by ropes, and these ropes were strung across the wooden deck at a series of intervals. and there were a series of hooks beneath the aircraft.
first arresting
and as
gear.
these hooks snagged on those ropes, the weight of the sandbags there would bring the plane to a stop as it hit the deck.
Again, absolute wild work.
The weather on January 18th, 1911 was cold. Ely flew from an air meet to the USS Pennsylvania, 10 miles offshore.
Eugene Ely made his approach to cruiser Pennsylvania and successfully got into what is now referred to as the proper glide slope.
Flintstone style.
Hit the deck, and the ropes caught the hooks on the bottom of his aircraft and eventually brought the plane to a stop. And it was just an amazing event. No one had ever seen anything like this before. I mean, you have to think at that time, you're only about 7 years removed, 8 years removed from the Wright brothers' flights. And here you have sailors seeing an aircraft land aboard their ship. It was something that was, really, observing it must have been an experience to remember.
And the amazing thing is, the metaphors laid out by Ely of the flight deck, of the arresting gear, of the tail
He
hook,
still had that bike
are
or
things
two,
that we
like,
still
strapped around
use
him, too.
100 years later. The man was a visionary.
But Eugene Ely would not live to see the magnitude of what he'd achieved. Within months, he was killed in a plane crash during an air meet.
Damn. That's all I gotta say to that is damn.
My father was a A6 intruder guy. So as a young one, I got taken to lots and lots of air shows. I'd climb up on my dad's shoulders. Any kid is gonna look up and think it's grand and amazing and they want to do it.
And remember what I told you about the roll-in is that when you see that line down there,
I need
The
him
thought of landing on the carrier
to
is
criticize
still a
my
very big idea and
my flying
not
skills.
ominous,
in
but
Ace Combat. Just need to
it's
pull,
still a heavy
just pull me
thought,
into the
landing on
office
a
afterwards and be
giant
like,
chunk of metal
listen,
in
you
the
can't
middle of
keep
the
going to
ocean."
space.
Yeah, second to last flight before head off to the boat on Monday. So 2 more chances to perfect it before we go, or bracket the mistakes.
When you're preparing to go to the carrier, all the students will grow a mustache. It's kind of maybe a little bit of a badge of courage around the squadron that you're far enough in the program that they're going to let you go to the boat.
Some of the fine young gentlemen going out to the boat are not quite as gifted in the
Top Gun
mustache
stash.
growing department, I guess. Some of them look exceptionally creepy.
I'm not a
She's
mustache
so real
guy,
for
but-
that.
And it doesn't help that my mustache is blonde, so it's not coming in too great. But
I will say, we
Unless
had
you're
this
a
one
very
guy.
special girl, you
He
are
could
not going to
grow
grow
a glorious mustache.
But
He said
I
you have to
have
wait
every
like 6
intent of either
months
finding,
and see
like,
if it
some,
like
stick-on
is actually
mustache,
good.
or I'm just gonna draw it on every day because you gotta run with the guys.
Have you seen the one with
Just go to the dollar store and get those sticky
I mean,
mustaches.
when I'm at work, I'm one of the dudes. When I get home, it's hair down, skirts, dresses. I like being a girl, and I've found myself to end up being more feminine now than I used to be because it's almost like recharging the estrogen levels when I get
Or this
home.
this was in 2010. She could have gotten a mustache necklace. Those were like really big back then, like from Hot Topic.
it's definitely a competition. Everybody wants to be the best. You know, it doesn't matter if there are Army guys here or Air Force guys here. It's the same thing. Everybody just wants to be the best. With that being said, I mean, Navy guys are my good friends too.
Little did they know.
There's always a little bit of a rivalry between the Navy and the Marines. Jordan and I are pretty good friends. We've gone through all of flight school in Kingsville together. We classed up back 14 months ago and pretty much been flying together.
Yeah, me and Rob, we started ground school day one in this building together and went through everything pretty much together.
107, that looks good. Probably a little.
Anytime I was having issues, I would go talk to Rob, and Rob would get me straightened out. So
And, we can keep working at Joker, but
Shout out, Rob.
It's time to knock it off and work home. We're creating a tactical jet naval aviator. Certainly, most of the aviators coming through our
Bro is channeling
program
drill. Again,
are
he's
likely to see
he's a you know,
combat. And
he's
yes,
a
they'll be
jarhead.
For more than a decade after Eugene Ely's pioneering flights, U.S. naval aviation stood still.
Most people would think that, hey, this is a triumphant event. This is a major demonstration. The Navy is going to fall over itself to
I
buy
see what you were
aircraft. Well, that
saying.
wasn't the case.
I thought you meant like he's just
Airplanes
super
were still
motivated.
made
And
of
I was like,
wood
yeah,
and
he's a
fabric.
Marine.
You could barely hold the weight of a
They're all
man,
like that. They're
much
all
less a
super
heavy
motivated.
bomb. But from the moment he witnessed Ely's plane land on a ship, Captain Washington Chambers could imagine the future.
Chambers could look down the pipeline.
No, you're good. I honestly thought you were talking about the Marine that was on the screen.
Technologies beginning to appear on the horizon. New materials like aluminum, new structures like monocoques, new fuels like high-octane gasoline. Planes were going to get faster. They were going to go farther. They could lift more. They were also going to be more deadly and more maneuverable.
Marine on the screen. I hate how that rhymes.
By the end of World War I, the airplane had become a part of modern warfare. The British were the leaders, but the Americans were anxious to catch up. So were the Japanese, who built the world's first aircraft carrier from the ground up. The Navy embraced seaplanes for reconnaissance.
Seaplanes.
But the effort involved in lowering and retrieving the planes made them useless for much else. For Chambers, it was clear the Navy was falling behind. He continued to press.
You have Chambers going and doing this incredible marketing job to a very conservative general board of the U.S. Navy, trying to sell
Just
a
make
very
big flying
new,
boats.
very expensive technology, which, oh, by the way,
So essentially
required
Star
the building
Trek
of
is
some
what
of the
you're
largest
asking
and
for?
most powerful warships in the world to prove that it was even viable.
For the Navy brass, carrier aviation was a distant fantasy. Nothing could replace the king of their fleet, the battleship.
Up to this point, the war plans of
Except
every
for
nation
now.
in the world still envisioned big gun battleships, 8, 10, 12 at a time, lobbing one-ton shells at each other until one side or the other gave up, and that would determine the fate of nations.
The final push towards carrier aviation came unexpectedly. Not from inside the Navy, but from an inter-service rivalry fueled by a brash Army general named Billy Mitchell. Mitchell had been in charge of all America's airplanes in World War I, an experience that
Mitchell.
forever changed his vision of war.
If you look at World War I, it was just a horrific experience. You had trench warfare, people killed by the thousands and hundreds of thousands. And you had people
need
like
working-
General Billy Mitchell, who looked upon the airplane
They
as a way
don't.
that could change warfare and could get warfare out of
We
the
have other
trenches.
vessels for that.
Mitchell's determination matched his arrogance. He wanted to consolidate all military air power under one service, an independent air force under his command. Mitchell set out to do something big, something never done before. If the whole world believed that airplanes could not kill ships, well, then he would prove them wrong. In July of 1921, he orchestrated a show for decision makers in Congress. Mitchell's airplanes first destroyed several old battle cruisers.
Yeah, technically the Army Corps, but
Then came the
soon
most
to be
important test.
Air Force.
Each plane carried a newly invented 2,000-pound bomb. Their target, a captured German battleship, long deemed unsinkable.
Remy is like... Did I tell you about Brother Eve and the Zoo Pals? It's the same energy.
This was a triumph for Billy Mitchell, and it achieved the exact opposite.
Brother
of what
Eve,
he
no
wanted.
matter how much a Zoo Pal was destroyed,
It triggered
as
in
a
Navy
kid,
leadership
wanted to
a
keep
decision
every
to
Zoo
look
Pal.
At, hey, we have this air
Like the
power
plates.
advocate, General Billy Mitchell.
Didn't matter how
and if we don't
messed up or cut up
embrace
or
aviation
dirty
and
it
look at
was.
aviation as an adjunct to the fleet,
That's
then
Remy.
we may
Remy's like,
have
"Those
an
could have
independent
been
Air Force on our hands,
museums."
and also may have
It's
a
giving
Navy
my
that's
Zoo
greatly diminished.
Pals. But it's true. It would be awesome to keep everything, but
Within a few months, the Navy regained the lead, converting a cargo ship into an aircraft carrier christened the
blowing
Langley.
up decom ship is also fun. True.
The age of American carrier aviation
Nothing
was
like a
born.
good old Sync-X.
The Langley operated for 2 years in an experimental role, testing aircraft and training pilots.
Ooh. Oh.
We like to talk about the golden age of naval aviation in the 20s, where we had
For everybody
wooden
that roasts
airplanes
people
and
for
iron
catching
men.
the fourth wire, just know this
These
is
were
where we
people who
came
were willing
from.
to literally bet their lives to go ahead and bring this technology and this new
You should
kind
get my
of
landing
warfare to the
footage
forefront.
It's actually my landing footage in a
It was
nutshell.
hard, and it was dangerous, and a lot of naval aviators died. And this is really where the reputation of naval aviation began to be built. The naval aviators of the interwar period are very much characters out of the movies. Yeah, they had silk scarves. Yeah, they had leather jackets and flying helmets. Yeah, they had steely-eyed looks, and they were handsome, and they did daring deeds.
They were, for lack of a better term, the macho men of their time. The guys that had no fear, just as they were confident in their own capabilities, set apart from those that preferred to keep their 2 feet on the ground.
Yeah, I'm
I
those
guess
people.
The word is probably ego.
The 2 feet on the ground people? Me.
Probably ego. It was probably what got me into it. I want to be a big shot. The image of a naval aviator was a red convertible, top down, with a beautiful blonde alongside. Who could want anything else?
I mean, you know what? He's got a point. he kind of ate there, you know.
Every day you're operating in 3 dimensions.
Do I want to be a big shot? No, I want a red convertible with a beautiful blonde next to me, like he said. That's what I want.
You don't have time to
Maybe Josie.
call
Josie's
breaking
a
out the
beautiful
book
blonde.
and read and see what the
Could probably
problem is and
ask
fix
her
it.
if
You
she
just
would
don't have
ride in
time to
my
do that.
red
So
convertible.
if you don't have things memorized cold, you can't put them into action quick enough.
We make our own mistakes.
Do you want to be
and
deck
tell the
crew?
plane to do the wrong
No, I
thing
was very
sometimes.
happy in my radio room.
If things go wrong.
It was cold as
they can
crap,
go
but I had
really
air
wrong.
conditioning in the Middle East, and that is like gold. I big shout out to the deck crew
Some
or
days
anybody
you're-
who works on
you're
the
just
flight
on,
deck.
Some days you're not.
I will be
Hopefully
the first to
we'll peak,
admit
when
that
we head to the
you know,
boat and
those
have a
people are built
good
differently.
Day. We're practiced. We're well rested. We're ready to go, and we're at the top part of the game, close to being as good as we can be.
So they're going to move it in 500-pound increments when you give them the signals. So palm up like that, and then the palm down. Horizontal is move it down.
I'm having a feeling that I'm gonna look and be like, wow, I have to land in that little spot, and you know that boat's not as big as I
His
thought it was
face is
gonna
exactly
be.
mine.
But trying to keep those
Did you
out of the
see
head
that?
right now and just
Same.
focus on what we were taught to do.
This will be a completely new experience for me and most all the other students. We have no fleet experience. It's going to be loud, it's going to be busy. I mean, they've been showing us all week of people killing themselves behind the boat, crashing left and right. It's all learning points you can take from, and remember, don't do that. I don't want to turn into a fireball. I'd like to land and come home at the end of this.
All I'm gonna say
The
is
nerves
shout
crank
out
up.
crash.
It is completely foreign.
I think this is the
and,
second time I've shout out crashed.
Probably the most exciting thing we've done in our lives to this point. So.
They look like they're from. I mean, they are in Top Gun school technically.
In the mid-1920s, the Navy had just one small carrier, the Langley. Airplanes had become sturdier, the pilots better trained. But still unresolved was how to use all of this in war. Amid the wavering, one figure emerged to take the lead. His name was Admiral Joseph Mason Reeves.
He looks like Admiral Reeves looks like if you ask the Navy, or if you ask AI to spit out what a naval admiral looks like, be
His
him.
nickname was Billy Goat Reeves because he had this beard and goatee that he
100%.
wore. He's a hard charger, a football player at the Naval Academy, studied tactics, and he is a convert to naval aviation.
Reeves chafed at naval doctrine that confined planes
They really
to
do be looking
reconnaissance.
like a rectangle.
He was after a weapon
What are
as
the shit?
lethal
They look
as
like
the battleship.
triangles though. It's
For him, it very quickly became, how can we use
God,
this
not
aircraft carrier
LHDs.
not as a
Can't
support
remember.
weapon, but
It'll
as an
come to me,
offensive
but
weapon,
they look like
as the
floating
offensive
pyramids.
centerpiece of a naval force.
my brain blank right now. I can't remember.
Admiral Reeves understood, even with Langley, that you had to maximize the number of planes that could be launched from that flight deck. Bringing
Zumwalt?
the most
Is it
intense
Zumwalt?
concentration of firepower
Yes,
onto
yeah,
a
it is
target
Zumwalt.
as possible.
Yeah, they look like floating pyramids, dude. Like if the Illuminati had a ship.
In 1928, Reeves got a platform that matched his ambitions.
The United States takes two incredible hulls of battle cruisers.
Well, the
that we're
reason
building,
why they're stealth
and
is
they
because
put
they look
all
like
of their
triangles.
tonnage into these two ships, and they
Fun
produce
fact.
two of the most
Is the
beautiful,
reason why they're stealth
powerful,
is
and in
because
fact,
of
the
their
fastest warships
their
in the world,
pyramid triangular
the
shape.
Lexington and the Saratoga.
Reeves loaded the two carriers with nearly 100 planes each. And within a year, he overcame the seemingly impossible.
Yeah, you're thinking of
Launching and landing dozens of
LHDs or
airplanes in
LSDs.
rapid fire succession.
Anything with a bay. I think ESB also has. Correct me if I'm wrong. ESB might also have
It's a jigsaw puzzle.
a place where you can
It's like
drive
baseball.
in.
It's a game of inches.
I can't remember.
You
Only
can
seen
pick a
one,
million
and it was
different
the
cliches, and I don't think any of them really
oh my
accurately
God.
capture what happens on a flight deck
Michael Mansour.
with dozens of airplanes,
Is that the ESB?
some launching, some recovering.
Nini B Dorito ship. Yes, yeah. That's a stealth
There was this
Dorito.
constant ballet going on, choreographed by the deck department, the air department, literally hundreds of young men.
Yeah, the LPDs
using
do
their
have.
bare
They
hands
do look
and
particularly
muscles
triangular.
to push 90 or
That's true
100
too.
airplanes.
I think there. You know what? Actually, there's a lot of ships that look like just straight up fucking triangles.
New and better planes were in the pipeline. The Curtiss SBC-4 Helldiver could carry a 1,000-pound bomb almost 600 miles. The next challenge, delivering the bombs with more precision. And for that, they invented dive bombing.
Dive bombing is a technique that was developed by the Navy because it provided a very accurate way of bombing a pinpoint target. And ships are pinpoint targets. The planes come in at about 10,000 feet and then pushes over into a steep dive. And when I say steep, meaning going straight down.
Inside of the cockpit, they often flew with their canopies open. As the airplane would push over, the visceral feeling of being lifted out of your seat and hanging from your straps, looking through a very simple reflectored gun sight. Meanwhile, this ship that you're aiming
It's like being on a
well, it's
roller
moving
coaster.
target. It's snaking, it's circling, it's changing its speed.
See that? Zigzagging.
Then at about 2,800 to about 1,500 feet, which isn't very high at all, you would release the bomb. And then immediately pull in excess of anywhere
Way
from
more intense
4
roller
to
coaster.
6 or
yes.
7 Gs.
Obviously, but
to
the
come
only
out
thing
of
that I
dive.
can relate to in this scenario
Naval
is a roller
aviation had
coaster.
gained power, reach, numbers, and precision, but was still untested in battle. Starting in 1929, the Navy began a series of war games called Fleet Problems that put Reeves's theories to the test. None proved as prophetic as the vast Pacific exercise known as Fleet Problem 13. On February 7th, 1932, the carriers Lexington and Saratoga peeled away from the fleet and sailed towards Hawaii. 152 planes were dispatched to attack Pearl Harbor with dummy bombs.
Lexi's mom.
In the mock assault, they pounded the airfields and port facilities.
Lexi's mom.
And why it's so important is because it showed that the carrier could operate independently and operate as its own task force and did not need to have the battle line there for support. And it showed the offensive firepower of the aircraft carrier.
The Navy minimized the risks of an attack by carriers. For the next decade, the old strategy stayed largely unchanged.
These are tough times. This is the Depression. We had existing battleships. They were there, they were paid for, we knew exactly how to employ them, and they worked.
But Fleet Problem 13 did not go unnoticed. Across the Pacific, the Japanese studied it closely. Over the next decade, they would expand their fleet of large carriers to 6. They would build the Zero, a state-of-the-art fighter plane. They would train 3,500 naval pilots. The carrier force that moved toward Pearl Harbor in December of 1941 was the largest and most powerful in the world. In a bitter irony, Pearl Harbor would stand as the first real-world proof that carrier aviation was the next superweapon.
That is true. That is true. It's not much to really commentate on that besides, lessons were learned.
When you walk out on the deck in the mornings, it's pretty impressive. It's quiet, it's peaceful, and you start to pre-flight,
actually, this is a crazy jump
you
from
can feel a ship starting
from
to wake
what we
up.
just watched. It's just, it's quiet and calm on the flight deck.
You can hear the surf going underneath the hull. You can look out in the horizon, see the clouds, and you just breathe in that fresh air, and you go, it's a good day to fly.
It is, you know, when there's no flight ops, it is very nice. I'm not gonna lie.
Flew out as a division, a flight of 4, and everybody that was qualifying was solo, and that's another appeal to what we do, is that you get to go out there alone. It's on you.
Everybody says that your reputation, it doesn't matter how well you fly in the air, your reputation that everybody hears about is how well you land on the carrier.
And the formation part of the flying was really shaky. I thought we should have looked better coming overhead the ship. Just some, I think that was more nerves than anything. But
I just
the
noticed the
3 students, we
mustaches are
definitely-
gone.
It was pretty ugly coming overhead.
To see that piece of American
I guess they go
territory
away
out
after
there in the
their
ocean is awesome.
first landing.
The first time when you're coming over and you look down, you kind of get the chills. I don't know if they were nervous chills or just, but wow, it makes you very humble.
When you get out to the boat, pretty much just spend 10 minutes giving yourself this like once in a lifetime pep talk. The next thing you know, tower's calling you down to get set up for landing.
You have an LSO who's standing next to the wires on the deck.
Shout out LSO. This is the second time we
passes.
shout out LSO
They're
on one of my
listening,
streams.
for the sounds the engine's making. They can tell you've made a mistake before you see the mistake. Rolled out, the ball was a little high to begin with, and to keep it safe, bumped up the power a little bit.
See, yeah, he's prime example
The
that
landing
like
area is
not everybody
angled
needs a
to the
mustache,
left
okay?
Of the center line of the ship. So anytime you roll up behind the ship, the landing area is actually moving away from you. Not just away from you, but to the right. So you're always lining up a little right. You'll see the plane kind of undulate. You'll see black smoke shooting out of the exhaust because you're in there fighting. Saw the LSOs go by, and they were all staring straight up at me. Saw the wires go by, it's 30 feet over them. I knew mid-pass that I just bought that bolter big time, so power back up and take back off.
Shit happens. Shit happens.
A bolter is when they come around with their hook down and they land too long and they miss all the wires. And they have to go around and try it again.
Definitely not the end of the world and better than the
The
alternative.
first trap was kind of a rough pass for me. Rolled out, center line. I believe it was a good start to a little high in the middle and trying to chip it down to a little high at the ramp.
The first trap is, there's no way to really describe how it's going to be. It's this
I can describe it.
screeching noise.
At least on a Greyhound, it
Your body
throws you
gets
all the
thrown
way
in your
forward.
seat.
Oh, there,
When you
yeah,
get
she said
that
it.
feeling, it's nice because you know you're in fact stopped and on the boat. First attempt at stopping on the boat, made it.
Yeah.
They taxi me over to get fuel, and you know, you're still shaking, your foot's sitting there pulsing, and you know, they taxi you up to the cat, shoot me off.
Honestly, I felt very sick after catching when I had to fly on, like, for
Everything
basically
goes
the
dead
whole
silent.
day.
My first initial thought was that my engine
It was
just failed.
not a nice
I had to
feeling.
realize that I was still climbing and my airspeed was increasing to realize that I'm safely airborne.
Coming down a high start and trying to chip it down while remembering the first pass, which was my fly through down for the one wire. Didn't want to do that. Kept too much power on it. And I forgot to put my hook down.
Oh no.
around I went. So, second day, the fangs came out a little bit more. I guess the cockiness came out maybe.
Jordan Meredith, one of my good buddies, he had a better second day, but it ended up being, I edged him out just by a little bit.
With Rob being in the Navy, me being in the Marine Corps, Rob's chances of going back to the boat are almost guaranteed. I mean, that's all the Navy jet pilots go to the boat, whereas Marine jet pilots don't necessarily go to the boat ever again.
We've pretty much been flying together. We've gone out to El Centro to do bombing together, and obviously we went to the carrier together, so it'll be tough. He's a Marine, which means that the odds are I probably won't see him again in my career.
That does suck,
I
though.
was kind of depressed.
It really does.
The fact that Marines don't always get to go to the boat, and the fact that I may never go to the boat again, it's such a cool experience that you don't want it to end, and when it does, it's kind of rough.
To like leave your friends that you like trauma bonded with essentially for the past 2 to 3 years. For them, it's like 2 years. I mean, for some people, they really enjoy it. Like, obviously, I enjoyed the boat, but like, I had a coworker after I got out who was a Marine who thoroughly enjoyed his MEU and would rather take a ship deployment over a boots on ground deployment. Just depends.
The
Just
devastation
depends.
at Pearl Harbor was the work of carriers. 350 Japanese planes launched from hundreds of miles out at sea. In just 2 hours, they wiped out most of the battleships of the Pacific
Decent
Fleet.
food is a
It was a masterstroke.
it's questionable. I've talked about that multiple times on here.
And there were some
Decent
people
food
in
is
the United
whether or
States
not
who
you get
believed Japan
a
couldn't
shipment
be
or not.
stopped. That eventually Japan would not only control all of China, the
There
Philippines,
were
the
some
Dutch
times
East
where we
Indies,
did not get
but the
shipments of
northern
stuff,
coast
and
of
I would much rather
Australia,
eat an MRE
possibly
and my
even
big
India.
toe before I ate anything else.
In the United
I mean,
States,
obviously the
loss
vomit
of the
is disgusting.
battleships
Veggie omelet
upended
and
every plan
MRE is
for how
absolutely
a war in the
disgusting.
Pacific
But
could be fought and won. By sheer luck, 3 aircraft carriers had been spared. They were out at sea during the attack.
that's a fucking. You've never heard of it called
You have
the
this
vomit?
bizarre situation that the Japanese attack with aircraft carriers forces the United States into a carrier-based naval strategy.
It was now up to the U.S. carriers to hold the line against Japan's Imperial Navy. In June of 1942, the Japanese fleet moved toward a pair of small American-held islands in the Pacific.
Yee.
Midway Atoll was just 1,000 miles west of Hawaii and strategically important.
They ran
A
out of
threat of
everything but
invasion
chicken.
was sure to draw a
He doesn't
full-out
eat chicken.
American
We
response.
had 8 days of meatloaf one day. I just
It was
that was
designed as a
absolutely
perfect
horrible.
trap.
The Americans sortie with about 50 ships. Three of
8
them are
days,
aircraft
lunch
carriers.
and dinner. Obviously, breakfast was different. Lunch, dinner, and actually mid-rats.
They're
Now I think about it
facing
too.
off against
Somebody ordered
what
like
looked to be
way
impossible odds.
too much meat, ground beef,
The enemy has
and we had to use it all.
vast,
So they said
vast numbers
meatloaf.
of ships. Almost 200 ships. They've sortied the entire combined fleet.
The morning of June 4th.
No, I
did not
honestly
start
would have
well for
eaten
the
the
Americans.
vomit over the meatloaf for 8 days. I don't know. I don't think you
Radar
understand
on
like
Midway
how
began tracking 107
how
incoming
morale
Japanese planes.
like that just like shit on my morale completely. I would have
Within
begged for
minutes,
any sort of
every
variety.
operational U.S. plane was in the air.
By day 2, I had tried every sauce combination to try to like make it
The Japanese bombers swept
somewhat
through the
palatable.
defenses.
I would have taken the vomit just to shake things up a bit. That's
Out at
saying
sea,
something.
The U.S. carriers Enterprise, Hornet, and Yorktown launched their planes.
Enterprise Hornet in
hoping to
Yorktown.
hit the Japanese carriers before they could unleash a second strike. Three squadrons of TBD Devastator torpedo planes reached the Japanese fleet. Flying at wave-top level, they were easy prey for anti-aircraft fire.
They can't get creative on a carrier. That's the thing, is there's too many people, so it's easier to get creative on like a DDG. Like my friends who are on DDG said they would just order a bunch of seasonings and people would just like give them all to the cook.
Not one torpedo scored.
And the cook was able to do whatever they wanted with them. But
the early strikes
you have
morning,
5,000 to
both from
6,000
Midway
people on a
and from the
carrier.
American carriers suffer crippling losses.
And you only have a limited amount of supplies. You
casualties are
can't
insane.
get creative, unfortunately. Plus,
of the men and aircraft that launched that morning, about half
I'm gonna
did
pause
not
this
return.
real quick because we're in kind of a lull point, and I wanted them to be able to talk about something like this without me going on about meatloaf. It's time and place, you know what I mean? But the other thing is DDGs pull in a lot more than carriers. So carriers rely on like supply from merchant marines or from logistics operations versus DDGs who have to pull in to refuel. The carriers can be out to sea just with no port, and nobody would ask any questions. We don't need fuel. We can get JP5 jet fuel via that resupply or RAS. So there's like no, that the supplies be limited. So which means meatloaf for 8 days straight. They can't shake it up. Because trust me, I asked, I was like, is there really nothing else we can do? It's like, is there really like, we can't make tacos out of that or any, they're like, no, we can't. It was absolute trash. But Raz for the win. True. That was also, Raz Day is mail day, which is why, hell yeah. Jet fuel with the water supply. Ooh, that was my last underway. We'll get to that. That was my last underway on the carrier. It was spicy water. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. Sorry.
Meanwhile, 2 squadrons of SBD Dauntless dive bombers launched from the Enterprise in search of the Japanese carrier.
Yeah, it happens. I watched a whole pallet of mail go bye-bye during a RAS, and that sucked.
They were led by a 40-year-old lieutenant commander from Buffalo, New York, named Wade McCluskey.
McCluskey gets out to the point where he's been told the Japanese fleet will be waiting for you there. Gets out there, butkus. Nothing in sight.
Staring at the vast expanse of ocean, McCluskey had to decide whether to return his men to the Enterprise or lead them on a fool's errand.
And McCluskey decides, well, I'm going to take my force of 2 squadrons of dive bombers and I'm going to have them follow me on a very methodical search pattern. Now, he has a little problem. He's running low on gas. And more than a few of his pilots are looking at their gas gauges wondering if the old man really knows what he's doing. And then McCluskey spots a Japanese destroyer. He figures that Japanese destroyer is going at high speed
see
towards
that
something.
zigzag
I'll
that we
bet
were
you that's the
talking about
Japanese
earlier?
fleet.
McCluskey
Wow,
followed
full
the destroyer.
circle.
Approaching from the south, he spotted 3 Japanese carriers. His bombers plunged into their dives, catching 2 of the carriers by complete surprise. Minutes later, a third U.S. squadron stumbled on the scene and attacked. As McCluskey looked behind, through the tall columns of smoke, he was stunned. The Americans had sunk 3 carriers, along with some 300 aircraft, and nearly 4,000 men.
4,000, that's... Whew.
That man and that action took the Japanese Navy essentially out of the war at that moment.
The Japanese have gone from an absolute position of supremacy to they never go on the offensive ever again. And it all came down to about 4 dozen dive bombers.
The pilots who followed McCluskey that day were ordinary men. Many were newly enlisted.
They had no right to win, but they did, and in doing so, they changed the course of a war.
The Battle of Midway was the most decisive single naval battle in U.S. history. Over the course of World War II, Navy airplanes would provide the dominant firepower in every
I just realized the
important
face
battle
I
in the
made when
Pacific.
I said that.
Carrier aviation had proved itself beyond measure.
Oh yeah, no exceptions. No exceptions. We are absolutely rating Art dead. It must happen.
Congratulations, real proud of you. Well done. Keep that. Good job. Congratulations. Good work, Marine.
I watched every World War movie I could get my hands on as a little kid. Attack on Pearl Harbor, Battle of Midway. The history has shown that even small carrier forces can bring a lot to bear. The way things are, one person can change.
They're happy they
history,
graduated.
basically.
I'm
So
happy
it's
the
a
mustaches are
very
gone.
large responsibility.
What you got there? I said a wings.
No offense, but what she said was very true.
A lot of hard work. So, yeah, it's definitely a good time.
I let them bask in the glory of it for a day, and then it's like, guess what? The next challenge is ahead of you.
All right, well that was part 1. There is a part 2 to this. Let me okay, I'm gonna go back to the app screen. Okay, which means this is your warning. This is your warning that it's gonna be loud. You ready? Yeah. Okay. What the fuck was I gonna say? I guess. It's like mustaches part 2. Anyway, there is a part 2 to that documentary, and maybe we'll watch it next week. I do want to, for the month of May, since it is Military Appreciation Month, but also more importantly, Memorial Day is the last Monday, which is the 26th of May. I do want to focus more on people in particular. I mean, that documentary did have a bit of, it's still April. Homie, it is April 29th. Okay? I got a plan. You know, I like to plan out my my content and stuff like that, at least a little bit. But I do want to focus on people more, which means maybe we'll do more Yap streams. I mean, personally, I would like to do more Yap streams. Maybe we'll do some educational streams. You guys liked my little slideshow when I yapped about people. We could do that. But again, just because again, it's May, it's Memorial, Memorial Day coming up. I do want to focus on people. And just, also, I think it is important that we remember that, while, the technology is cool and we do talk about the big history, I think sometimes we miss people, and the people who did those things. So, yeah, we can absolutely do that. I'm probably going to post something on Twitter, like if you guys have anybody who you want me to cover, kind of like how we did Rear Admiral Grace Hopper. I definitely will. She had another lecture, and we'll probably watch that next month as well, or I guess in the next coming weeks. But we can. There's a lot of people to choose from. I did want to do Admiral Rickover at one point, but he doesn't have a lot. Anything that he spoke at is like clips of his speaking, so like him at his Senate hearing. I know there's the Rickover movie. I'd have to look into how we would be able to stream that without getting in trouble, essentially. Because I think that would be cool. But yeah, I actually looked at that yesterday. I was like, well, maybe I'll do a stream about Admiral Rickover and Discord watch along. We could definitely do that. We could definitely do that. But just preparing stream wise, what we're gonna do. So yes, for the month of May, expect more Yap streams than gaming streams, because I do want to focus on particular people within naval history, and yeah, I feel like that'll that's a good thing that I want to do. But anyways, oh boy. That was a good documentary. It was a mix of modern and history, and I appreciate that. There's a big jump though between the heaviness of watching, Pearl Harbor footage versus oh yeah, it's very calm on the flight deck. It's like okay, that was something. Oh gosh, yeah. Pearl, yeah, that was so it's a bit of a crazy transition, but otherwise I thoroughly enjoyed that documentary, and like I said, there is a part 2 to that one, so we can definitely watch it. Now imagine the entire carrier fleet shows up. Yeah. But it is still important that we talk about these things, and as heavy as some of these topics can be, it is important to learn about so it never happens again, because again, I'm a big believer in learning your history so that you don't repeat it. Absolutely, we do not need that at all. But that's just my personal opinion, I guess. Oh gosh. But my first experience with Pearl Harbor was Medal of Honor Rising Sun. Yours was a John Wayne movie with your grandpa. Oh, okay. Actually, I don't know what my first exposure to that would be. Probably my great-grandfather talking about it. He would talk about it. Obviously never watched it. When he was alive, I was, very, very young. It would be a little weird to expose, basically, a grade schooler to footage like that. But, you want to visit Pearl Harbor, does anyone know where it is? It's Oahu, Hawaii. I have been there quite a few times now, just pulling in and stuff like that. I definitely recommend it. Definitely recommend visiting the Arizona Memorial. And Mo is there too. Yeah, it's making plans to head back there yourselves. I was someone else was making plans, and no, it hasn't changed its name. It has not. Actually, the base that's there is still Joint Base Pearl Harbor. Anyway, excuse me. What was I saying? I got stuff in my throat. Anyway, yes, that's true. Ford Island is not an active airfield. Yes. But anyway, someone else was saying they were making plans to go, and I went down memory lane of all the places that like I low-key miss from Hawaii. Matsumoto Ice, which Adrian also said, hell yes, that place is amazing. 100% go there. Obviously, if you have a rental car, don't go there. If you're just Ubering around the island, that gets very expensive. But Matsumoto Ice is the place. Took them to see North Carolina, planning on taking them to see Patriots Point with Yorktown and Leafy. Nice. Yeah. I can't think of some other ones. You have to reschedule till November. Oh, man. Well, November is it's like Veterans Day. Maybe they have like a Veterans Day event or something going on that you could participate in. That'd be pretty cool. You know, I just think it out loud. I would assume they would have a Veterans Day event, but who knows? You really want to save up for a trip around the US from Norfolk to Hawaii to see big old girls. You know, it sounds like a pretty sweet gig. Not gonna lie. Said Norfolk, not bad. Go see Whiskey. Yes. I unfortunately did not. I had like 4 days in Norfolk, and I did not exercise those 4 days to the extent that I wish I could have. Because it was during 4th of July '96, so unfortunately everything was closed. Except the Chili's that's like near the base. That's where I ate. I ate at Chili's. Like where you go through the turnstile and there's like the Nex right there. And then there's that Chili's. Yeah. That was my hangout spot for those 4 days that I was there. Where they just left me. He says, do not. Do you have flashbacks to the Chili's? Oh, if I see you throwing it back on the Missouri, I'm gonna lose it. Oh my gosh. Oh no. I thought that was a do not mention the Chili's. Oh gosh. You want to go to Norfolk, but it's 3 hours away by car. I'm curious to see U.S. naval ships. Well, there's plenty there. Trust me. Can you go on the well, there is a museum in Norfolk, obviously, but as for base, I'm not sure. I'm not sure what they have on base for like tourists. Remy might be able to help you out. The museum, yes, but not active. Yeah. So like the reason why I say that is because like Pensacola is technically an active base but has a museum on it, but they have a separate like entrance for civilians so that you really never touch the actual base. Like you just go straight to the museum. I will say though, if you ask a sailor, depending on their availability and depending on if the ship is actually accepting visitors, you can go to an active ship. We did do tours, like of the Lincoln, where people could just like go and, you know, you have an escort who is an active duty sailor. So that is an option. But you know, you have to know someone. You get what I mean? Yeah, parents can get on base because of vet IDs. Yeah. During Fleet Week. Yeah, that's true. That's true. I think your best bet is probably during Fleet Weeks. Actually, what Fleet Week is coming up? It was, Houston is having a Fleet Week, or they're having their first Fleet Week, which was kind of crazy. I saw that recently. But, yeah, you need a connection to enter, to get onto base, to be escorted. You have to be, the reason why you need a connection is you need an escort at all times. So, I mean, that is an option, but let's see. Actually, you know what? Let me look that up for people real quick. Fleet Weeks 2025. Let's see. Fleet Week for Intrepid is May 23rd to the 26th. Do they even post it anywhere? That's what I'm trying to do a quick googly. And I'm not seeing a lot here. There's gotta be something. There's gotta be something. Oh, Houston is in the fall. I'm just seeing like, Fleet Week Houston is from November 9th to November 16th. Let me look up when is Fleet Week NYC. Or did that already happen? Are we already too late? I can't remember. I just know everybody's in whites. Oh, Fleet Week New York is actually May 21st to the 27th. They do a lot of tours during New York. Oh, I'm not looking at the chat. I already see that you dropped it in there. October to November for San Diego. Yeah, so I mean, look up one of like a major city that's near a waterway near you, and you know, see when they're having a Fleet Week or if they're having a Fleet Week, and that might be your best bet to get on a ship without necessarily a connection, or you know, you just buy people drinks at the bar. And yap their ear off about how much you want a tour of their ship, and they'll do it. That's always an option, as long as as long as you're of age. Okay, we promote law here. Don't be doing that anywhere else. You know what I mean? But I'm really starting to think that this is Remy. I think you're seeing what I'm seeing. I've gotta set the bot on clean house. You know what I mean? Yes, we do love our museum ships. Obviously, Admiral, chicken jockey. Oh my god. Oh no. We're talking about Fleet Week, and now he's pinned chicken jockey on my stream. Thanks, I hate it. Oh, I need to. I see. You sent me a message. Staff, fix your links, by the way. Thank you. Not chicken jockey. Oh my god. I Oh, thanks. That's really great. Are you gonna throw popcorn at me now? I don't have throwables on for it. You know what? In honor of Admiral Chicken Jockey, maybe I'll turn on throwables. I'll see if there's popcorn. We got Admiral Chicken Jockey. Oh gosh. LA is May 21st to the 26th. Okay, alright. Yeah, there's no, like, what I'm surprised about, there's no, like, one place where there's, like, you know, a list of Fleet Weeks. That's what I was looking for those of you who wanted it. I guess they don't really do that. That's kind of annoying, though. I'm not gonna lie. You have to hunt for it. You have to hunt for it. Oh, boy. Fucking chicken jockey. There's a bunch of separate sites. Yeah, I'm seeing that. I saw like a lot of news articles and stuff like that announcing it, but there's no like one place to go look it up. Of course, that makes too much sense, I fear. They want you to go to a bajillion different places. Ugh. Yeah. Oh well. But anyway, point being, if you wanted to visit an active, that's how you would do it. You would have to have a connection or possibly a Fleet Week where they're advertising tours. Because they do that. They do that for the public. Even like when we were in the Philippines, I actually thought this was absolutely crazy. Because the Philippines, like the pier is, you can't really pull up to the pier. And it's near the big like Mall of Asia. You have to anchor out, but they brought people on Liberty boats to go tour the ship, like civilians. They weren't necessarily like, you know, high, you know, ooh, yeah, Max, no. Do you want to lose your drone by chance? Because that's a really great way to do so, is to bring it anywhere near an active base. Yeah, they use those. They use those as like target practice. Oh gosh, yeah. Don't bring your. It's not your bring your drone to work day. Definitely do not do that. So it's a great way to just lose all that money. Oh god, it just it'd be like that. Anyway, it's about that time, folks. Tomorrow, again, we have our stream with Lucy. I do need to catch her up on Portal 2, or just Portal lore in general, because she's not going to know who GLaDOS is, and she's definitely not going to know who Wheatley is, but we'll catch her up. Hopefully don't lore dump too much on her. But anyway, we are gonna wrap it up. We are gonna raid Art Dad. Hell to the hell yeah. Raiding Art Dad. Anyway, you know how this goes. Liberty call, Liberty call. Don't make a life. Don't take a life. Don't add or subtract to the population. If you're driving, don't drink, and if you're drinking, don't drive. And if you find yourself in jail, establish dominance as quickly as possible. Now, when we go into Art Dad's stream, you must thank him for helping give birth to me. For those of you who don't know, Mono Joker is the person who created the majority of the art that you see. The art for my standee, the art for everything, okay? He created my concept, he did everything, okay? So everybody needs to thank Art Dad, for sure. All right, guys. I will see you guys later. Bye.